So if you're like me and you enjoyed the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, then when Square Enix from the Europe subsidiary released Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy game in 2021, you'd be a little bit more than curious. And in today's video, we're going to explore a Guardian of the Galaxy game, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion on it. Let's do it! So, in Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy game, we assume control of Peter Quill, the Star-Lord, in a third-person perspective. And yeah, this is a fun game. It took me completely by surprise. And it was one of those games, like I said in the intro, I enjoyed the movies. I saw this game come up, added it to the must-play list, or at least I need to have a look at it, and promptly forgot about it for about a year until I got Game Pass recently. And I've got to say, I started playing this game, and at first it was, I wasn't sure if I liked it, and then I played it more, and then, 5 or 6 days went by and I'm still playing the game. So I've got to tell you, this is a fantastic game. If you're looking for something, if you're in between games and you're looking for a third person kind of shooter stroke melee type game, you could do worse than pick this game up. It is actually a lot of fun, and I think Eidos Montreal and Square Enix have done a fantastic job at balancing the game in all the different components, and we're going to go through that now, and I'm going to talk a little bit about all the different elements of this game. So just before we do, let's just set the stage. The plot of Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy takes place several years after a massive interstellar war that raged across the universe. Among those looking to survive in the tumultuous Adronima Galaxy are newly incorporated heroes for hire, the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a group of characters which all have their own traits, sense of humour, etc. So we follow their adventures pretty much throughout the galaxy, and I've got to say, there is so many different parts of the galaxy that we explore, and everyone feels a little bit different. Now, with a lot of games these days, after the first couple hours, they start to feel a little bit repetitive, and this game doesn't really suffer from that, even though you are doing the same things over and over again, because of the environment and the variation in enemies that you get and the interactions that you get with the various members of the Guardians. Plus, the storyline is extremely strong. The game never really feels as though it's just rinse and repeat, and I think a lot of developers could learn by that, because this really sucks you in. It really immerses you. It never really feels as though it's just a grinding game, and that is sort of what I was looking for when I picked this game up. A game that you can drop into, play for a couple hours, and drop out of without a problem. Unfortunately for me, the couple hours could be 5 or 6 hours. But the beauty of this game is that you can just drop straight back into it, even if you haven't touched it for a couple of days, and just pick it up for where you left off, and on you go. And I love games like that. I love games that just allow you to drop in and drop out whenever you feel like it. As far as what you would expect from a game like this, it has all the bug standard stuff. You can upgrade a whole lot of things, a whole lot of abilities. You get perks, you can upgrade your weapons and abilities and whatnot. But you also get to upgrade all your character abilities at the same time. Now, this is something that's not exactly obvious straight up when you first start playing the game, but the further you get in, the stronger you get. And the more that you explore the menus, the more that you realise that you can not only change the outfits of your Guardians, but you can upgrade them and make them stronger. Now, one thing that does take quite a bit of getting used to is the fact that my expectation, at least, was that this would be a single player game, which it is, but it has a twist, because you are in charge as Peter Quill of basically also controlling all of the Guardians and putting them to work in fights, but also using their abilities to solve puzzles. And there are a few puzzles in this game that you will have to solve with the aid of your Guardians, and I think that's quite nice. That keeps you engaged in the game. The puzzle solving isn't that hard. It's actually pretty straightforward, but it does kind of make your brain think a little bit. And a lot of the time when you can't figure it out, then it's a case of figuring out which Guardian you need to do what in that scenario to get you to progress. And I like that. I like games that do that, but it doesn't overtake or overpower the game. It is just something that you have to do to progress. You also have to loot in this game, and if you loot, you will be heavily rewarded, not only with upgrades and perks, but also you will get various outfits for your Guardians, and you can make them look the way you want if you like. And I have done that, and you can see by the character models that we're showing that certainly they're not bog standard looking. Certainly the combat in this game is extremely smooth. It works very nicely, but it does take it's a little bit of time to get your head round how to use your Guardians, when you should use Peter Quill, and when you should use your Guardians, and the combinations and all the rest of it. Takes a while to get that just figured out. And one thing I would say is I just feel that Peter Quill, to some degree, even with upgrades, just feels a little bit weak in parts. His guns don't seem to have a lot of power to them, but when you combine them with his abilities and the various things that you get, then it kind of compensates. But I would like to see the Peter Quill character a little bit stronger, and that's just a personal preference. However, given that you've got all these Guardians to draw on, and you can upgrade those as you go, it kind of balances itself out. But the combat largely is not only smooth, it is a hell of a lot of fun, and it takes you a while to get the combinations worked out. I'm not really a big fan of having a lot of button combinations in games, and this one does have quite a few that you've got to kind of figure out and train your muscle memory on. But it's not overcomplicated, and I don't like these games that you have to press X 300 times and Y at the right time and stuff. It's not like that. It's pretty straightforward, although it does, as I said earlier, it does just take a little bit of time just to figure out what buttons to press and when to press them in the heat of battle, and so expected to expire a few times while you're figuring all that out. But I don't think it gets to that frustration level. It just, you get up, you dust yourself off, and you keep going. Obviously the Guardians, once you've used their attack, there is a cooldown period. I don't think the cooldown periods are too bad. It really doesn't detract from you being in combat, and they continue to fight even though their abilities are cooling down, so that's quite nice. And Peter Quill also has some quite fancy abilities that you can draw on in those moments where your Guardians might be cooling down. So would I recommend this game? Absolutely I would. It's one of the best games I've played for quite a while, and if you watch the channel for a while, you know that I play a lot of different games over a long period, and this one just kept me playing and playing. It seems to be well paced and well balanced in as much as the storyline and the progression of characters, the kind of pacing of the storyline versus combat, the kind of different directions that you can take all your characters in, how you can upgrade them, all that stuff combined. It's very, very balanced kind of game. Sucks you in and keeps you there and keeps your attention, and that's always the sign of a good game. So I recommend this game if it's your bag, and if you're not quite sure if it's the right game for you, why not watch my my first hour version of this game, where I just give you raw gameplay, and that series is basically designed just to show you the gameplay as I play it. No distractions, no voiceover, just the gameplay, and it gives you a good kind of feel for the game in the first hour of it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this has been useful. Pick up this game if you're looking for something to play, and we'll catch you next time on the channel. We'll see ya.